There we go. All right, so I'm recording. Oh, I've been recording for a minute. How's it going? So we ran into a few hiccups, and quite honestly, this is my first crack at this. So I'm very excited to be doing this. Unfortunately, but unfortunately, I had another webinar came up this afternoon for the 4% Success Challenge that I'm going to be watching. So I had to move this one to 7, which was unexpected, and I hope that no one rearranged anything to make it to this webinar at 8, because unfortunately I can't do it at 8. So, but it's very important for me to be at the partners meeting at 8 o'clock tonight because there's some important information coming out. So most of you know, this program that we've been working with this week is part of the 4%, and that's the website, the 4%, and then also the program is what I'm going through. And if you're, we're going to talk about the wealth building blueprint here. But if you're at all serious about affiliate entrepreneurship, affiliate marketing, getting into that space of, if you've heard about ClickBank, if you've heard about any affiliate products, you can be an affiliate for anybody. And basically, an affiliate is a person who tells someone about a product, and that product, then the person buys that product, and then the affiliate gets the commission, right? So it's pretty simple. So Vic, the owner of the 4%, the creator and owner, talks about how we're sort of like Uber, right? Affiliates are like Uber. We have no products. There's no overhead. There's no products. It's just us, and we have we have people that need to get somewhere, and they call Uber, or they text Uber or whatever they do, and then Uber shows up and takes them, right? So takes them to the place that they need to go. So it's basically like the Uber is the vehicle, literally, through which the person who needs something gets the result. So they needed something, they did not have something, or if, like Greg Cardone, who's a master marketer, says, they went from an ain't got, meaning they ain't got a ride to the airport, to a got, which means that they're at the airport. So ultimately, that's how the affiliate works. So the nice part is that there's no stock in our house. There's nowhere, we don't have to keep anything here. We don't have to keep we don't have to have overhead. We don't have to have people working for us until we get bigger and better. And it's really just up to us. So if you're serious at all about getting into the affiliate marketing space, the 4% Success Challenge is absolutely fantastic. It's something I've been working with since February. My entire life has changed since I started with the 4% Success Challenge back in February. I'm really, really excited about it, and that's what I wanted to talk to you today. Well, I wanted to talk to you about the blueprint, but I want, we as 4%ers, we make it our job to ensure that we are providing as much value as possible to customers. So if you're interested, and you've been getting emails from me and things like that. But ultimately, if you're interested in that space and getting involved, going to the 4%, getting into the 4% Success Challenge is absolutely the best thing you can possibly do for yourself. So I'm going to link my piece. I'm going to put my link in the email when I send out this webinar, and then we'll be able to, you'll be able to take a look at that and go through the 4% Success Challenge webinar. And I highly encourage you to get into that, because ultimately, you can't go wrong. It's just wonderful, the training. So there's, you'll go over the blueprint for, you see the millionaire conversion model. And this is what Vic will teach about. He teaches about it in the webinar, but this is really important. And you get this. And then there's the attributes of a 4%er. I'm trying to get used to my camera here. The attributes of a 4%er, really important. All these different things, and then the most important thing, in terms of what you sort of not get, but like what you start doing is writing down your goals, right? So I have a goal card. I have 3 goal cards actually. I have 1, 2 that my daughter. Oops, I put a note to myself on that one. Once these my daughter made, that I asked her, and so every time I look at my goals, I get to think about my family, and that inspires me. And then I have one that is that I wrote myself. I write one every month in terms of like my financial goal for that month. So very important. And I also every day write down my goals. I like look at all these notebooks I have, different things that I'm doing. But every day I write down my goals and like what they look like. So the important thing for goals is that you start writing them. You write them as if they've already happened, right? So instead of saying I'm going to build a house for my family, you say I built a house for my family, and your subconscious mind kind of bridges that gap between I haven't done that yet to I'm there. So the subconscious mind can't tell whether you have done the thing or you haven't done the thing, and it kind of if it believes that and you believe it, and then your subconscious believes it, then it'll make it happen, right? So there's all these different things that the 4% Success Challenge goes through. But that's my sort of talk about that, and I know we're here to talk about the wealth building blueprint. So I have my notes here that I created over the last couple days for this podcast, and I'm going to go over them now, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So, this is a really, I thought was a really helpful series for me. It was nice and short and succinct, and I was able to get a lot out of it, and things that I just from a personal standpoint was able to learn quite a bit about my own finances and like how to manage those types of things, and what percentages and that what percentages your finances go in, and how you can, if you're a business, right, you put out a you create a bank account that's called your accounts receivable, like what you bring in from the business, and then underneath that you've got 5 different accounts, and those accounts are taxes, wealth, charity, general, and operations. And so I'll go through all those different ones tonight with you, and it'll take about a half an hour at most, I would say. So I've been looking forward to this, but ultimately, without anyone attending, because I changed the time, it'll be a little shorter, and then you can certainly write me with comments and questions. So the mindset. So the first thing that we talk about, and I know this is a little awkward. I actually got a bunch of stuff today to do this on the wall, and then realized that I would have to do it with my phone, and I don't want to do a webinar with my phone. So I'm just going through with these pictures these notes I made. So you have the broke mindset, and then over here you have the rich mindset. And so you can see with the broke mindset, both people get $1,000, right? So a broke person gets $1,000, a rich person gets $1,000. And when I say gets, I really mean makes, right? So you make in your business, you make $1,000. The broke person, the person that never has any money left over, at the end of the month, is going to put it into a personal account. They're going to use it. There's no business entity, and they're going to use the money to pay bills, do personal things, etc. And at the end of the month, they might have money left over to put into the business. And that's no way to do business. You have to have a specific amount of money that you want to spend on the business every month. So it might be like, it could be, you could plan on, okay, well, this month I want to spend, $100 on advertising. So you're going to now we're talking about $1,000, right? So out of the $1,000, you're going to spend $100 on advertising, and then $100 on self-development. So maybe there's a course that you wanted to take that you can afford because you've saved up the $100. So that's what you need. You need to know that you're able to do that, throughout the month. So that's ultimately what a broke person does. And Vic makes a really important point that you do not You do not ever operate as a sole proprietor. So what that means is if you operate as a sole proprietor, that means that there's really nothing between you and the business, and so that basically they're equal. So if anything happens and you get sued or something weird happens, if you get sued, your business is not, your personal is not protected, right? It's just everything goes into the personal. Where if you're an LLC, limited liability company or corporation, I just know it as an LLC. But that there, all your money, like if you can be a millionaire, and if something goes wrong in the business, they can only touch the money that is in the business. So that's a really important thing that you want to consider. So that's a thing with the rich mindset. And so with the rich mindset over here, you have the bank accounts, right? And so that's where you have your receivable, which is $1,000. So you put the $1,000 in, and then you save 40% for taxes, then 10% for wealth, 10% for charity, 20% for general, and that's like your personal account. So that's where you buy like new clothes and you get gas and anything that you need in your house. And then operations is the other 20%, right? So that's the important thing here. And I'm going to go over each one of these specifically throughout our webinar here. And when I say awareness and action, one of the points that Vic makes is that a person who makes $5,000 a month, right? Let's say you're at a regular, you're in your job, have a job. I'm not someone who's like trying to break out of, I can't have money to buy a loaf of bread for my family, like Vic came from. I have a job. I'm pretty well, taken care of. I need more, right? I want more. I want to be able to help more people. And ultimately I want to be able to provide for my family better than I'm able to. And so the awareness, right? So down here I have awareness, right? Awareness and action. Sorry, awareness and action, and that's very important because before February, I wasn't aware of how to make an amount of money higher than what I'm making. So I use $50,000 as an example. That's where let's say the example that Vic uses is, let's say I make $5,000 a month, and that's fine, and that does the trick. But ultimately, I make $5,000 a month because I'm not aware of how to make $50,000 a month. So once you become aware of the fact that you can make $50,000 a month, then you do it, right? I mean, who wouldn't? So once you figure out the steps and you realize the process, and it's really not it's not that difficult. It's just a matter of like learning skills and doing what you need to do in order to succeed. But success will come so long as you want it, and so long as you're doing what you need to do. But it's not a luck. There's no luck here, right? It's all numbers. It's all percentages. So the more you do, once you figure out, like for instance, the 4% Success Challenge webinar, right now it's converting, which means people are buying it. Like 10% of the people that attend the webinar, so let's say 100 people attend the webinar, 10% of those people are purchasing the webinar. Purchasing the 4% Success Challenge. That means that once you're aware, that means that you can count on 10% of the people. So if I buy advertising for 1,000 people to get into the 4% Success Challenge, and that's not advertising, but there's different types. But if I buy advertising and 1,000 people out of the people I've advertised to attend the webinar, then 100 people are going to buy, right? And that's a huge commission. It converts at about 40%, 30%, right? So that's like $40,000, which is it's insane to think, right? But that's ultimately because I know that it's converting at 10%. There's 7 billion people in the world. It's not going to, just because it's me, it doesn't mean that like my luck's going to be like, well, no, I'm only going to convert at 0.5%. I'm going to convert at 10%, just like anyone else is that's selling it. It's just a matter of of time and how much you invest in advertising and then you pull back in, right? So that's really important. All right, so the second module, which is ultimately the first one, is your income. And you've got the rich model and the broke model, and this is where you break up your bank accounts, right? So you've got your the broke person over here is they get the $1,000 and they don't do anything with it. They just have it in their personal account. And so Vic, like Vic says, never ever ever depend on one income. And that's the same for if you're a professional. If you know anything about investment or retirement or pension, anything like that, ultimately, you want to make sure that you have a way to make passive income. And that means it could be from stocks, it could be from real estate, whatever it is that you invest in, that's passive income. Because once you kind of get that ball rolling, then it rolls and it builds and builds and builds, right? So you never want to depend on just one income. And it's tough because I'm not talking about getting a second or third job. What I'm talking about is getting setting yourself up so that you can make some money without doing any work. So that everyone talks about it as making money while you sleep. And it takes a little bit of setting up, but once you've got it set up, then you're making money while you sleep, which is the goal. And with affiliate marketing, people think that it's just, there's so many YouTube videos, and I've talked about this in many of my emails. So I'm not going to talk about that really, but there's so many people that are making a killing, or saying that they're making a killing. That's one thing you got to watch out for. But there are people that are really making a killing on it, and it looks so easy, right? But you don't see the work that it takes, right? It's slow moving. It's like a locomotive. You got to get it moving. But once it's moving, it goes, right? So that's where the rich mindset comes in. So you see all these dollar signs coming in. Those are all what's called multiple streams of income. And so you have to have all these different pipelines of income coming your way, right? So you have your main job, and then you have if you're an affiliate entrepreneur on the side, you get these multiple streams of income. And then if you're someone who wants to quit their job or has been let go, or have quit your job and you just don't know what to do, this is where it's at, right? You've got multiple streams of income. Different places are sending you a little bit of money, but a little bit of money from 8 different places is going to be a lot of money, right? And then the most important thing is if one goes belly up, like all of a sudden, if you've got you've got a particular company that's sending you money, and then all of a sudden they go bankrupt or they go out of business, then you've got 7 different other sources of income, so it doesn't hurt you, and then you just kind of get another one rolling. It's like spinning plates, right? So you get one spinning and get that going, and then you go and get another one spinning, and then you come back and check on this one, and then you go back and check on that one, start another one, and check them all, and then pretty soon you've got it's like you've got all these plates spinning, and you just have to maintain them and nudge them a little bit, make sure they're okay. And that's ultimately with the 4% Success Challenge. The most important piece of it is that you've got an MSI, what's called MSI ecosystem. So when someone comes in the 4%, everyone needs tools. You need tools to be an affiliate entrepreneur. So you need ClickFunnels, ClickMagic. You need an autoresponder like GetResponse. And you've seen in my emails on the bottom of it says GetResponse. That's my autoresponder, which is an email service that sends out emails. Well, I send an email out, but it's that's how I do it. I have to pay for that, right? And it's all part of doing business. But the nice thing is that if someone comes in as a 4% Success Challenge customer and starts learning the same things that I'm learning, then they need an autoresponder because that's part of the tools, and then I get a commission on that. It's all set up, right? So you plug in your code into a particular page, and boom, you've got your MSI set up. So if I have 50 people, someday I'll have 50, 100, 200 people coming in the Success Challenge on my behalf. That's 200 people that I'm getting, $30 a month and get response, right? How much is that? $6,000. So that, and that's one out of like 15 or 20 that we have in the 4% Success Challenge. All right, so module 2 is taxes. This is really important. So what I did was I put these on the right. I'll put pictures up in my in the email. But you want to make sure the most important thing is you have a tax account, and you want to pull that $400 out, that 40% out. It's 40. You go with 40% because you don't want to mess it up, right? So the worst feeling in the world. Fortunately, it's never happened to me, but the worst feeling in the world, because I know people that have done it, is going to tax your accountant in April, or if you're anything like me in January, because you're like so geared up because you need that money, because you want to make ends meet or whatever. Which I'm sick of it. I'm sick of doing that, right? So that's why I started this whole process in the first place. Things like things like that I shouldn't have to worry about. But you want to overestimate. So 40%, if you stick 40% of your money into the tax account, then it's there. And when it comes time to pay taxes, you don't have to worry about it. Now, the other important thing is that you pay them quarterly. You don't want that money. Like, so let's say through the year you made $100,000, right? And so your $100,000 has come into your accounts receivable. That means $40,000 is in your tax account. That's gonna be very tempting, right? To kind of skim a little bit, even if it's just like $5,000. It's gonna be very tempting to take that and use it to buy the new kitchen set that you need because your oven and your microwave, went belly up at the same time, like mine did. So it would be easy to do that. So you want to empty that quarterly. You want to pay your taxes quarterly because you're an independent contractor. Basically, you pay like an independent contractor. That way, it's not a temptation. It's not your money. Ultimately, but that's the thing. It's very interesting because the way you think about taxes is it's not your money. When you bring in $1,000 for your business, that's not your $1,000. 600 of it is yours. 400 of it is the IRS's, is the government's. So that's extremely important to, if you think about it like that, like it's not even your money, then that it's not very hard to let it go. Now the nice thing is that 4% has a CPA in house. So there's someone that you can talk to, and in the 4% group, there's a CPA, a group of CPAs that you can use as a resource to help you with particular businesses and things like that. All right, so then you have the wealth account. So you got your tax account, and then your wealth account. And the wealth account is made so that you have it's 100. So this is 10%. So $100 of what you make goes into this, and you want to put that money into a wealth account, and then take the money that you've got in your wealth account, again, quarterly, monthly, whatever, invest it into something, right? Invest it into, you might want to save it up for a real estate buy, where you've got, if you've heard of real estate REITs, I forget what the real estate investment something I don't remember, but that's where if you have that real estate bug, then you have to save up for that. You might need $3,000 to get in, or that might be the minimum investment. But you want to get rid of that and push it out to get it to start making money for you. And the goal is that you have your working income coming in, right? And that's going into your R account, and then the passive income is coming out of your R account into your wealth account, and then your wealth account is actually feeding your R account. So you're making more money from the passive income than you are from your working income. That's the trick. That's a long time coming, but that's the trick. That's an eventual type of thing. So that's the wealth account. And then you got charity, the charity account. And this is one that, Vic talks about how it's very difficult to sort of convince people. But when you've got the charity account, it talks about there's laws, and you'll hear this when you start studying, when you start studying money and you start studying investments and things like that. even the Bible, if you have faith, if you have a faith that you believe in, it all talks about, you give and you shall receive, that type of thing, right? So when you talk about charity, the more you give, the more you receive back. It's like opening this window. You'll hear many people talk about it. The more money, you get more of what you give, right? So if you put $100, 10% of your income toward charity, then again, you make sure it goes out every month. But maybe you have maybe you have a church, or maybe you have an organization that you're really interested in, like that, the SPCA, or it could be anything. Give it away. Give it away. Make sure that you're helping other people with it. I have my own ideas, and I'm so excited to get started. Get this process rolling more effectively, so that I can do the things that I've thought to do since I started this. These are things that I never occurred to me that I would be able to do. But now that I see what's possible, I can't wait. I cannot wait to start giving the money away, because that means number one, that I've made it, and number two, that I'm able to help other people. And it has crossed my mind, and I've thought about this. It has crossed my mind to actually pay for people's tuition to come into the 4% Success Challenge. If you think about it, it's tuition, right? It's training. People go to 4 years of college and they come out and they don't know half of this stuff. They don't know any of this stuff, because it's not traditional. People don't want. It's almost like they don't want people to know that this is possible. So that I've thought to pay people's tuition eventually, so that they can get started making money, and that people don't have to be poor. No one should be poor, particularly in the United States. I think everyone, well, no one's actually watching this right now, but when you watch this in the United States anyway, no one should be poor. It's ridiculous to think that anyone should be poor, very much less could be poor, and that's really it's saddening, but it's true. And so it's really important. So one of my thoughts, and this isn't what I ultimately want to do. One of my thoughts was actually just like helping people into the challenge, and helping people get to, start making money through the internet. I mean, the power of the internet is it's infinite. We have no idea where it's even going, but it's not going away. We all know that. So it's really something to be reckoned with. All right, and then you've got your general account. And this is important. This is another 20% account. This is the first 20% account. So you've got your taxes is 40%, wealth is 10%, charities 10%, general is 20. I'm holding up because there's some icons there, and then the operations is 20. So general. So that's where you see, like, if you've got, if you're making $1,000 a month, which is you're gonna have to aim higher. But if you say, okay, well, making $10,000 a month, that means $2,000 is coming into your bank, into your general fund that you can use to buy clothes and food and gas and all that kind of stuff. So you kind of think about, like, well, that's $2,000. That's going to be tough as well, because I've got 2 kids or 3 kids. I wouldn't want to live on $2,000 a month. So I have to up my receivables to a point where I'm getting what I want to in my general. So let's say, like, if I go back to the $50,000 example, I would get I think it's $10,000 a month. Yeah, it's $10,000 a month, right? So yeah, I could certainly do $10,000 a month. That would be very, very nice. But that's where I want to be. And ultimately, when you think about what we're talking about in terms of that awareness, the fact that it's possible, never even occurred to me in February that it was possible to make $50,000 a month. Just why would it occur to me to make $50,000 a month? Now I know, and now I'm skilling up and making sure that I'm doing skill up, making sure that I'm doing everything I can to make the money that I want to for my family. All right, so those are my beautiful diagrams that I wanted to show. Now I'll go to the last two, which I forgot to make. That's all right. Because it's really just the operations. And so the operations, your operating budget is that you have to have that money have to have money in your operations. So you have to have 20% in your operations to continue this, right? And the more gas you get, the more coal you put on the fire in the locomotive, the faster it's going to start going. And then you're gonna just, it's just going to kind of go. And Vic talks about the fact that if you the first $10,000 is the most difficult to make. And I can tell you that like I mean, you guys know I have not made any money yet. I know that I'm going to really soon, but I haven't made any money yet. So that he's right. Absolutely, the first 10,000 is really hard to get to. But if you think about it, I've been doing this since February. I didn't really know much about it except for having watched YouTube videos and probably watched YouTube videos from December to February, and then was like, I got fed up and I somehow found 4% Success Challenge, and I was able to get in. I got in just at the right time, and then they're relaunching. That's what we're talking about tonight in the webinar I have to attend at 8 o'clock. But I got in right at the right time, and so. And that's where right now is an awesome time to get in because it's new and fresh and people are getting in. But ultimately, for it's education. And so the idea that I have, the fact that I haven't made any money since February. That's what February, March, April, May, June, 4 months. Right? How could I possibly expect to even make any money in 4 months when I'm just learning how to do a business? So this is all part of it, and as you can see, like I'm trying to get I'm trying to get a webinar going, and I did it better than the last time. Last time I didn't even do the webinar. This time at least I'm able to do it, and I think it's unfortunate that there we had to change the time, but it is what it is. So you go, right? You just go. So, but back to the operating budget, you have to have money to feed the machine, so that you can continue to gather money and gather momentum, right? And you keep doing it to do, to make sure you skill up and to get yourself rolling. And then finally, the next steps that they talked about in the Wealth Building Blueprint is ultimately, it's joining the Success Challenge. And also Internet Traffic Mastery. So we also offer a program called Internet Traffic Mastery. So if you're already in business on the internet, but you don't know how to drive traffic to your offers, and you're struggling with driving traffic. And what I mean is going to basic. When you drive traffic, that means like if you're looking at Facebook and there's an ad for I don't know a car, right? For whatever reason, you poked around, you look. Okay, so let's say you look on Amazon for something. You look on Amazon for hair products, right? All of a sudden, that hair product starts showing up on the Weather Channel. 4% teaches you how to do that. It's kind of like creepy, but at the same time, cool. So when you look at when you start doing it, right? So I know, like I'm heavily involved with ClickFunnels right now. I'm going through their one funnel away challenge, which is it's a whole other thing. But Russell Brunson, the owner of ClickFunnels, he is all over the place. So if you click on anything that has to do with Russell Brunson or ClickFunnels, you're getting targeted, right? You'll have them showing up on your Weather Channel, on Google, on whatever websites do that. So that's called retargeting. And so when you let's say if you and we'll have that in the 4%, like for the webinars that you attended or signed up to attend. We have that. So you might be seeing ads on the Weather Channel. I go to the Weather Channel because that one seems to be the one. But when you see the little arrow, that's called retargeting. At any rate, Internet Traffic Mastery teaches you how to do that and teaches you what to do, how to drive traffic from YouTube influencers, like anybody that's like got 10,000 subscribers on YouTube or 20,000 subscribers on Instagram. They're called influencers, right? So they can say, okay, like if they all of a sudden, if you play your cards right or you ask, And some of them have like a specific thing, like, this is what I charge to do a shout out. So you pay someone like $100 to do a shout out, and they do a shout out over 3 days to get people to go to your YouTube account. Then that means that there's, you might get 100 followers out of that. 100 subscribers, and that means 100 more people are going to see your message, and that all means money for you. So that's Internet Traffic Mastery. That's a program. You don't have to be part of the 4% Success Challenge to be to get that program. And then the 4% Success Challenge, which is basically teaches you how to go from $0 to $10,000 step by step, from beginning to end, in 30 sessions, not days, sessions. So very involved sessions, very interactive, actionable steps that you have to take. But ultimately, you continue to do them, and then you eventually make $10,000. Now, and there's no guarantee, right? Obviously, they can't guarantee anything. But I will say that what they've got is this new system that we're putting out. Is that the system is designed for anybody coming into the Success Challenge. It's designed for you to make money coming in on the front end. So like within the first week, you'll have tools to start making money on the front on that there's first couple days. And then on the back end, which is the best part, the back end, if you don't, like if I got this, I'm on session 25 right now. It's taken me that long because, I've been on session 25 for like 2 months now because of all the things that they're updating. They had to change sessions 25 through 30. So I don't even think 25 through or 26 through 30 even exists right now because they're really revamping them up in the game. But if I get to session 30 and I have not made $10,000 in sales, in commissions. Actually, I think the rule, like if I haven't earned $10,000 in sales, which means that you could sell. They're talking about commissions. They want you to make $10,000 in commissions after the first 30 sessions. If I have not done that, which that will not be a problem. I'm not worried about that at all. Even though I'm on session 25 and I've never done this before. So that should tell you something, right? And I can't even describe like what the differences in my own psychology are about money and things like that. That's for a different time. But I'm getting emotional because it's so awesome. If you don't make the $10,000 mark by the end of the 30 sessions, they stick you in this mastermind, right? And they like you work one-on-one with someone from 4%, and they look at all your stuff. And they're like, well, what are you doing? What have you done? How have you done this? How have you done that? What does your website look like? What does all these different things look like? And then they tell you like, okay, well, this might be the problem. So you go and you fix that, and then hopefully the $10,000 comes in. And if you're unable to fix it, or if that's not the problem, then they give you another solution. So until you figure out how to do it, they won't graduate you to the 10,000 to 100,000 level until you've gotten your $10,000. Until you know why you got your $10,000, right? That's where I'm coming from. Is that I'm trying to record and understand why I've gotten to where I am psychologically. And then once I make that money financially, it'll be by the end of July. I will have, I will know what I did, but I'll still have some questions, right? So I don't want to go into the 100,000 one until I know exactly how I got to the $10,000. And that's really important. But that's what it's there for, right? So they're not guarantees, but if you do what you're supposed to do and you ask the right questions and you do the program with fidelity, all that stuff it lets you, if they want you to succeed. There's nothing in it for 4% if you don't succeed. If you don't succeed, then the program will go belly up and it won't be any good, right? But if you look on it, there's on the webinar, Trustpilot, there's the reviews are like 4.9, and there's like 2,000 reviews. And Trustpilot's like one of the best if not the best customer relations thing. So at any rate, that's where, hope you don't see my mouse, it's right from my face, but at any rate, that's where I'll end. Is definitely, certainly get involved in the 4% Success Challenge. I cannot say enough about it. I'm happier than I've ever been in terms of finances. My attitude about things has changed. I don't I started a podcast as well, and it's funny because I started it in June, and I've been recording some episodes while I drive to work. It's sort of modeled after ClickFunnels and Russell Brunson, but it is modeled after them. It's not sort of, but I'm not publishing that podcast until I've made money. So I think I say that in the first episode, or at least I'm going to put it in the notes. But like the one episode came where it was I get paid on Tuesdays. And so I got on Monday, I got my pay stub. I usually get it on Monday, and then I get paid on Tuesday. I forgot that it was payday. I'd forgotten, which has never happened to me in my working life. I was in the Army for 4 years. I always knew when my paycheck was coming in. I worked for a bicycle touring company, and I rode across the United States 6 times, and not 6 times, 4 times, and I did bicycle tours all around the country. You can bet I was looking for a paycheck with that, because that didn't pay much, as you can imagine, just sort of riding my bike and traveling. But I was always looking. I was like, where am I going to eat? It was just me. And then when I got into my profession, I've never had it where I just was like, oh, I'm getting paid this week? Oh, that's cool. It really, really hit me. That was huge. I was driving it for Uber. I was painting. I was doing all these different things, and trying to make ends meet. And then all of a sudden, and I haven't made any money yet. That's the point, is that I haven't made any money yet, but I forgot that my paycheck was coming. That's how much faith I have in this program. That's why I know percentage-wise I cannot fail. And I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. So why would I be any different than anybody else, right? Anybody else that's been successful in this has taken their lumps, right? And so I've taken my lumps, but it's going to succeed, right? So that's just what I have to believe in. That one particular day is when I forgot that when I forgot it was payday, was really, really eye-opening for me. So at any rate, I'll leave it at that. Join the Success Challenge, Internet Traffic Mastery. If you're already in business and you're trying to figure out how to drive traffic toward your offers, definitely look into that and join that. That's priceless. But 4% Success Challenge, I can't say enough about it. And this wealth building blueprint really kind of helped me figure out how to structure things, and in my own personal life as well as my business life. So I appreciate you watching this if you're still here, and I look forward to talking to you soon. So I'm going to try to turn this thing off and make sure that I say goodbye. So I'll say goodbye properly, and then I might be fumbling around a little bit, but this is the end. I'll stop talking now. Have a great day. Thanks for coming. Oh. End of it.